on a bolster. That can sometimes feel really nice for your hips. I did not lock the door, thank you. Or a block can feel also very nice for your hips. I'll just move this so that your view is a little bit better there. Jane and Jane. That's easy. Yeah, Jane squared today at yoga. All right, so we'll start either on our block or our bolster, elevating our hips, closing our eyes. There. Right here. You want me to just scoot one over to you right now? I'll just leave it. There you go. Okay. Gentle yoga with Jane squared. July 17th. Either we're seated or not. Maybe we're standing or on a chair, closing our eyes, allowing our shoulders to start to melt down and away from our ears. We're lengthening the sides of our neck. Breathe. Feel and begin to listen to the sensations in your body. The sensations of being alive, of being present. The feeling of breath. Every breath we take an opportunity to invite in healing. Every breath out, countless opportunities to let go of tension, to let go of thoughts that are not serving you in a good, healthy way. Feeling our breath fill our lungs from the base, the mid lung, and the top. Feeling that air go out, emptying from the top, the mid, and the base. Noticing where our body is connecting down into the mat or the block. We start to notice our spine. A feeling of connection, of those muscles that come in to support our spine. Like a feeling like we're zipping up our spine with those muscles coming in and around. Not too much tension that we lose our breath. Relaxing the shoulders, softening the jaw. A loving kindness short version to start our practice today. Each time we breathe in, let's imagine the words, may I. Exhale, be safe. Inhaling, may I. Exhale, be free from pain. Inhaling, may I. Exhaling, be happy. Thinking of other beings out there. Inhale, may all beings be safe. May all beings be free from pain. And may all beings be happy. Adding some movement to our breath, adding our flowing seated mountain, breathing in, extending our arms up to the sky, breathing out, bringing our hands back to the lands. Flowing at your own pace. Starting to feel the sides of our body, perhaps the muscles in between our ribs, the part of our body on the side from the lowermost rib and our hip. One more flowing seated mountain. We'll bring our left hand down to the mat and tip over to the left side, maybe supporting our head with our right hand, or it's a long reach. We'll come back up to the top, feel the length again, and tip over to the other side. Adding in that flow, that vinyasa, to move with your breath. Continue to find a small bend in our back, but all the while lengthening when we come to center, and a gentle tip over. So kind of like a bendy straw, right? We want to lengthen that bendy straw before we bend it. And then you feel that space in your back. Let's bring ourselves back to center, bringing our hands to our knees. We'll turn our chest towards our right knee. So if you're on a block, if it feels unsteady, you'll take that block out, because we are going to reach the chest forward towards the knee, then towards the front edge of our mat, the chest, and then towards our left knee. Then we'll come up. We'll turn, extend and reach, lengthen, 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 and come up. Just one more on each on this direction, then pausing at the top. Turn the chest to the left knee, extend and reach the chest towards the front of the corner, then the center, then the other corner. So if you can imagine the base of your spine at the moment, it's stirring up. Last one. Let's bring our hands back behind us. It's drawing our feet either hip distance at least, or walking them out a little wider than our hips, bringing the heels towards the body. We'll take them over to one side. Now they don't have to touch. All the way over to the other side, or just where you start to feel that resistance. And then you flow. Or, of course, you can always hold your postures instead of flowing, depending on how your bones are feeling today. Warming up our hips. Let's keep our knees over to the right, So sit up and draw the left hand around to your right knee. Find a small twist, right? We're still in the beginning of our practice. Don't have to push ourselves too far. Think of this as warming up, starting to lubricate our joints, and a time to notice. Let's unravel and go to the other side. Maybe you've got 90-90 in your knees, maybe a different angle. Bringing our chin back around, our chest back around. Let's move into a butterfly if that feels nice for you. If not, we'll draw our feet a little bit further away from the body. Let's check in with our inner thighs, just drawing our right knee up, keeping our left knee down. Feeling how that feels, right, in that right thigh. We'll let it go. And then the other side, engage this inner thigh, contract, lift. And bring it down. Let's slide our right foot forward and our left ankle over. You could put your fingers in between your toes for a stretch. That doesn't feel nice. Maybe you don't want to touch your feet today. Let's add some movement. Some modifications to be made. Blocks under legs or knees. Try to let your ankle relax. Make your hand do the moving. Other side. Let's extend. We've used this block over here to prop up right underneath our knee or even underneath our hip. Any modifications. Find your foot. So good. All right, let's roll onto our back. So take your time. We're doing a supine warm up. So let's roll onto our backs. Take a little rock side to side. Start to massage your lower back on the land. Maybe you notice if it feels okay to go all the way over onto one hip and that elbow props you up like a kickstand. And then all the way over to the other side, the other elbow props you up. Wonderful. We'll come back to on our backs. Take the soles of our feet down onto the earth. Press our lower back down into the earth. Draw our heels a little bit close to our knee, close to our backside. Pressing down into both of our feet. Let's go halfway up into a bridge. So not too high, coming up and then slowly lowering. And let's go with that a few more times. We're coming halfway up and slowly lowering. If it feels okay, we'll go all the way up. If you feel like the backside is clenching quite a bit, that's okay. That's normal in a practice. If you want to release some of that tension in the low back, you'll take your block, put that between your thighs or your knees to help you bring some of that connection to the inner thighs and the hamstrings rather than it all being in the glutes. Let's hold our bridge up now if that feels okay. Strengthening our back, right from our calves into our hamstrings, our glutes, lower back, mid back, shoulders. Our chest is open. Slowly lowering our backside back down onto the mat. If you've got your block, you'll take that out, placing it over to the side or the top of your mat. Let's bring our knees to 90 degrees and place our hands on our thighs. So almost like you're holding your knees and your thighs on top of your quads with our knees bent. Yeah. Let's keep our right hand pressing into our right thigh and our right thigh pressing back into the palm of our right hand, and then extend our left leg long and our left arm long. We keep our connection on one side and feel length on the other, low back connected. Then we'll come back to knees to 90, place some connection of the left hand, left knee, and extend the right arm, right leg. Come back to center, a few more on each side. So you're feeling your connection, then lengthening. And the other side. All the while still noticing how the low back keeps you supported. Wonderful. Let's bring the knees again to 90 and hold on to our kneecaps with our hands. We'll keep our right leg pretty straight and take our right knee, draw it out to the side. Bring the right knee towards the right rib, in and back to 90. So let's stir up this right hip. This is really good for our pelvic health, pelvic floor. Right, try to let our leg relax as we're just stirring up this side, bringing it in. Let's do the other side. So we'll let that opposite leg go out, bring it into the body, stir it back in. Just check in, how's that hip feel when you add that in, right? Amazing. We'll bring both of our knees back up to face the sky, place the soles of the feet down on the land. Let's bring our fingertips to our temples, bring our elbows out nice and wide. If it feels okay, we'll lift the chest, lift the shoulder blades, and we're looking between our knees, or we're looking straight up at the ceiling, a little crunch. Don't worry about how high you're getting in this holding crunch. More think of drawing the lower rib close to the hip. And we'll slowly lower back down, activating the core. Let's come up again. We'll come up, up, up. Don't have to go too high. And slowly lower. Oh, let's take a nice long stretch, fingertips to toes, nice and long, reach long. That feels okay. And then we'll be rolling over onto your left side or your right, whatever you want. Use your top hand to help you up. And unfortunately, your head's at the wrong end of the mat, so you'll need to bring your head up to the front. 10 years, still haven't figured out how to get you up to this end. All right, let's start to move through our cat and cow at your own pace, right? We've got so many modifications that we can make here. Fists for wrists. Block underneath the forearm. But whichever we choose, we're feeling a wave of movement. Beginning at the base of our spine or the crown of our head, moving through one vertebrae at a time. And then starting again at the base of the crown. Our knees underneath our hips. Widening through our sit bones in our cow. And drawing them back to neutral, and perhaps the pelvic floor up in our cat pose. Last one. Child's pose or downward facing dog. Right, we can always slide that block underneath our forehead here if our head doesn't quite want to come down to the mat today. Allowing our eyeballs to rest. Letting our eyes lengthen and reach towards the mat. Let them rest. We'll come back up to all fours. Just gonna skip this song. I know I'll get copyrighted on YouTube later for that one. Let's bring our right foot forward, left foot back into our spinal balance, or keep that connection on the land. So opposite hand and foot. Then we come back to all fours or tabletops. Continue to flow. Some options we can think about here. Right, keeping the hand and foot connected. If you'd like a little more sensation, add on a knee to elbow crunch underneath, an extension again. And then down to all fours, all moving with our breath. Knowing that throughout our class today, I invite you to add anything you want on to practice in a safe way, or leave stuff out that doesn't feel great for you. One more spinal balance either side. And one more time into child's pose, maybe dolphin, maybe downward facing dog. So many options we can choose. Wherever we are, feel again your breath connection. The feeling of your lungs expanding, filling, stretching, and the feeling of them coming back to neutral. A filling up and feeling space around the heart. A letting go of tension. Let's come to all fours on our next breath in. Reset our tabletop. All right, let's bring our right foot up to the top of our mat. So maybe we're walking it, grab it behind the ankle, bring it on up. Let's shift our left hip flexor just slightly forward. If you feel that right knee coming in front of your toes, draw the right foot a little closer to the top of your mat. We'll come forward and shift back, maybe just a tiny bit. Heel goes up, forward and back. If anyone would care for a knee pad, just give me a little signal. I'll bring you one. Got one more on this side. Can't bring you one if you're at home, no. Let's switch and do the other side. Hip flexor, hamstring, warm up. We come forward and go back. Blocks are helpful. Amazing work, everybody. We'll stay in that lunge position, left foot forwards, tuck our back toes onto the mat, right toes, press really strongly through our front foot and off our back foot to forward fold up to the tops of our mats. Maybe we've got a block there. Halfway lift, we'll breathe in. Exhale, fold. Few more times, engage the core, lift, lengthen, and then let it relax a little bit. And when we're coming up, we're drawing our shoulders away from our ears and maybe even widening the chest, shoulder blades around the spine. And then we fold. One more. Let's make our way into chair, hands on our knees. And then we'll turn our knuckles towards the center, elbows out to the sides. Let's do a cat and cow here. Opening up and then tucking, drawing up. Last one. We'll press into both of our feet, sweep all the way up to the sun, draw our hands together, slide our thumbs down to our heart. Take your time. Left foot stepping back. Pretty good amount of space between our toes as we find our toes out on angles for our moonflowers. We'll breathe in and reach up. Breathe out, bend our elbows, bend our knees. Starting to connect to how it feels with the earth beneath both of our feet. Drawing our knees out towards the middle of our feet. So they're going out on angles. Our hips are going slightly back, like you're sitting back on an imaginary bench. If it feels nice for you today, throughout your class, closing your eyes. One more. Let's add our sunflowers. That feels okay for your blood pressure. Sweeping down, bending the knees, sweeping up, breathing in, down and up. So if we're taking care of our hips today, we wouldn't want to go down too far and potentially even turning this into a flowing chair instead of sunflowers. All right. Let's bring it down, reach to the mat, bend our knees. Just because I did this in a class I was taking the other day. We'll bring one hand here, the other hand there, like spider hands. Doesn't that remind you of a little spider? And if it feels nice, lifting our heels. One at a time or both. See how it feels to lift one, then the other, or both. Stay there for a few breaths or flow between both sides again. Draw the belly button towards our spine. Heels go down, straighten our legs, turn our toes towards the window a little more. Wide leg forward fold. Whatever feels best. If we're feeling dizzy, perhaps drawing a block underneath our hands, lifting our head up a little bit. Let's turn both of our toes back up towards the front of the room. Walk our hands up to the top of our mat. Step right on up there, forward folds. Nodding our head yes to letting go from judgment today. Of competition and expectation. Yes, none of that. Inhale when you're ready to a chair pose. Breathe in, lift the heart. An airplane pose, press into both feet. We reach back, zip up the spine to the core, all the way up. Sweep up to the sun, and hands will come to heart. All right, let's do a modified sun salutation today. If you want to grab a drink right now, it's a great time to do that. Crank up the fan. I shall crank it up. All right, hopefully that gets you guys a little bit. And we'll come up to the tops of our mats and settle into that standing mountain to start. Notice the earth beneath both of our heels. Our big toes, the pads of our feet, our pinkies. A block can be helpful. So we won't be going down today for sun salutations. We'll step back to lunge and then flow our lunge. Let's breathe in, reach up to the sun. Breathe out, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, let's bend our knees, bring our hands to our right knee or the block, step our left foot back. Stay here or lift up into a high lunge. Cactus arms, exhale. Back up, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe you hold your knee, step back up to the top of your mat. Halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, breathe in. Airplane pose, breathe out. Feel the belly button, draw towards the spine. Sweep up to the sun. And it comes out for us. Hands come to our heart. Exhale. Let's do another one. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, swan dive forward. Lengthen the neck. Halfway up. We fold. Let's bend our knees. Hands to left thighs. Take the right foot back. Strong core. Stay here or rise up to a lunge. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold, breathe out. We've got a little bend in our knees here. Chair pose, breathe in. Airplane pose, breathe out. Feel your core, support your back. All the way up. Sweep to sun. Hands to heart. One more on each side. Sweep up. Dive into forward fold. halfway lift. Bend the knees, hands to right thigh, left foot back. Rise to a lunge or stay where you are. Cactus arms, exhale. Back up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Great job, everybody. Forward fold. Chair pose, take a breath in, feel your core connection. Airplane. Small bend in our knees, all the way back up. Hands to heart. One more, sweep up. Swan dive forward, take your time. Halfway lift. Bend the knees, hands to left leg, right foot back, exhale. Rise up. Cactus arms. Back up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold again. Chair pose. We've got those hips going back, our heart lifting up. Airplane pose, hands reaching back or hips, widen across the chest. Back up, breathe in. Hands to heart. Another opportunity for drink, clothing adjustment. And then we'll go on. Holy cowabunga. Just some strength, and then we'll hit the mat and we won't be getting back up. I don't know where to do that. I'll be a camel. All right, let's move on to some strength poses. Warriors 1, 2, 3 as our balance pose. Right foot up towards the tops of our mat. We'll step our left foot back, no, not too far. Let's do short stance warrior 1 today. Left heel down, right knee bending, pressing into both of our feet. So adjusting that back foot as much as you need to. Some people like it to be out towards the whole side of your mat. If you're taking care of your knee, it'll be more towards the front to a potential heel lift if you're really taking care of that knee. All right, warrior 1, let's settle in. Let's start at the base of our warrior 1 today into our feet. Start to notice your feet. Your left heel. Hold that connection and notice your right heel. Your left big toe. Your right big toe. Both of those connections, then both of our pinkies. Noticing our right knee, making sure it hasn't traveled to the inside or outside of our mat. Keeping both of our feet equal weight. If it feels nice for our warrior 1, reaching up. Now, if you're healing your back, hands will stay at our heart today. Cactus arms. Sad cactus, palms face down. Let's push our hands forward. Clasp them together. Lift them up. We'll release them and place them back behind us, clasped together. Shoulder mobility, open up. This doesn't feel nice for those knuckles to be reaching for that back heel. Maybe you're holding onto your forearms instead. As an option, humble warrior. I know our legs are warm. Remember, it's okay to take a break. Let's rise back up and move into warrior 2. So the left hand will sweep back, right hand forward. Most likely you'll want to adjust your back foot, keeping your right toes pointing towards the front edge of your mat. Soften through our shoulders. Closing our eyes. And as an option today, again, shoulder mobility, some small circles. Whichever direction you want to go, because we'll switch. If you want to, those circles can get a little bit bigger until they're quite big, depending on how your shoulders feel. And that challenge, right? Eyes are closed only if that feels nice. Let's switch the direction, starting big and then getting small. Ooh, shoulders feel good. Let's draw our right arm across the body, stretch our right shoulder, look down our right shoulder towards the front of the room, or give yourself a nice hug here. Pat on the back with your right hand. Extension again, time for warrior three. So let's bring our hands to heart, lift our back heel, and bring it in as far as you want to until most of that weight starts to transfer into your front foot. And this is where we have an option. Keep the left foot as an anchor or like a little kickstand, or hands to hips, feel them face the earth, or hands at heart, warrior three. Breathe, right? Check in with the core, the front tips of our hips draw towards the center and our belly button moves to the spine. Ooh, ladies, forward fold, great work. Let it relax. Let's walk our hands over to the left side of our mat. All the way over to the right side of our mat. Maybe a block in case that you want to bring the floor a little closer to your hands with using a block. We'll come back to center. Let's bend our knees now, stepping our right foot back, short stance, warrior one, or full stance. Right heel goes down, we press into both of our feet and come up into our warrior one on the other side. Soften the shoulders, strengthen the core. If the mind has wandered, one way to bring it back is by focusing on our breath or maybe our body, maybe both. Both heels, both big toes, pinkies. Letting some tension just drain away from our face. Let it drain into your core. Bring that tension into your core. Cactus arms. Sad cactus down. Pressing it forward, clasping. We've got some space between our shoulder blades, shoulders down from here. If it feels okay, lifting it up. Release the hands, reach back, maybe forearms, maybe that clasp again. Knuckles reaching towards the back edge of our mat. As an option, humble warrior. You can bring your hands up off your back or keep them back. So knuckles can either reach for the back of the room or the ceiling. As long as we're breathing. Rising back up into warrior one and then warrior two. Left hand forward, right hand back. If your left quad is really alive, you can feel free to straighten it, maybe bend and straighten a few times. All right, some small circles. Until you're ready to make those circles big, if your shoulders feel okay. We'll reverse the direction, starting big, getting smaller. And then we'll draw that left hand across the body, look down our left shoulder or left knee. Maybe you give yourself a nice pat on the back with your left hand. You're awesome. Warrior two, breathing in, hands extend again. Let's move into our version of warrior three. So we'll lift our back heel, bring our hands to our hips, face the front of the room, right hip towards the floor, walk it in. So you can transfer most of the weight onto the left foot. As an option, lifting the back foot. That's only an option. Wherever you want your hands, at hearts, hips. Remember, be gentle with yourself. Forward fold, breathe out. Amazing work, everyone. Halfway lift. Fold, breathe out. Let's bend our knees, rest our belly right on our thighs, let our head hang out. We'll be stepping back to all fours for cat and cow. Maybe we put our fists for wrists. Let's move through a few cat and cows. Oh, good. Amazing job. All right, let's take our left foot out onto the floor. Maybe the sole of that foot onto the mat or the floor, pardon me. Walk our hands towards our right knee and we'll come up. If this feels okay to be on your knee, if it does not feel nice, you might want to, well, I can't do it with this big mat, but roll your mat up or I'll bring you a knee pad. We're okay? All right, we won't be here long. Lengthen, take our left hand to the back of our left knee, but continue to reach our right arm up. Then our right hand will come down onto the mat. If it feels nice, we lift our left and reach long. If that doesn't feel nice, keep your foot here. Keep your hand on your body. Whew. Let's walk our hands around. Keep that left foot out. Let's go through a few cat and cows with our hip out. So if you are taking care of your hip, or I'm pretty sure no one's had a hip replacement in this class, we won't do this. Let's do the other side. Knee in, right foot out. Core is strong. Walk the hands to the knee. We reach up. Keep the left arm lengthening. Right hand goes by, maybe back to the back of our knee with no pressure on our knee joint or block. Wherever you want to look, up, chin in line with chest, or down at your foot. Oh, look at the sun. All right, let's bring that left hand down. We can keep our right foot connected or lift. So you've got a block there too. That would be a good spot to put it. Make sure our right foot goes back down. Walk it around to the front. Cat and cow. Exhale and inhale. Couple rounds. And then a wide leg child's pose as your option. So you don't have to have lots of space, but if it feels okay, we'll try lots of space. Massaging our forehead on the block, on the earth. Massage that space between your eyebrows. Wonderful. Let's walk our hands over to the right side of our mat. So maybe sitting a little deeper into our left hip. Walking it all the way up and over to the other side. So more of a reach with that right hip towards the back right corner of your mat. Lots of space. Mm-hmm. We'll walk our hands back to the front, come up to all fours, inhale, and then we'll sit back. We're basically going back onto our back, so sweeping our feet around to the front, scooting our backside forward, and rolling back. We'll bring our knees towards our chest, take another rock side to side. Maybe noticing how that low back feels, how this flow feels from the beginning of class to now. Moving into dead bug or legs up a wall with hands by our side. So we can have our feet up and our hands up for dead bug, or hands on our rib basket or on our belly or by our sides. Our knees can be bent, our knees can be straight. You do you. You check in with your knees, how this feels for your core. It should be restful. A little bit of resistance, but not a whole bunch. Yeah, great idea. Let's move our ankles around a little bit. Create some mobility there. Now let's point our toes, stretch the front of our legs, and then we'll flex our feet, heels reach towards the sky, maybe even floint our toes. So try to create some space between our toes, spreading our toes. All right, let's bend our knees, bring our hands to our knees and draw the knees towards the belly. Moving into happy baby as our last pose today. Knees come wider than our ribs. We turn the soles of the feet towards the sky and find a place to hold our legs. Maybe holding our feet. Breathe. You can rock your baby. You can hold your baby still. If there is another pose that you'd like to add on to your class today, please do so. Otherwise, we'll settle into our Shavasana. The scent for our class is lemon lime today. So, of course, if you don't feel like having that, just raise your hand. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, settle in. I'll put on a meditation. If you're at home or on YouTube, have a great rest of your day. And if this is Pauline, love you, Pauline. Sorry it didn't work out.